Welcome to Parenting Live, a program designed for parents by Mommy VQ Akanbi. Stay tuned and be transformed as parents.
Definitive broadcast.
Parenting Live.
Bless the name of the Lord for sparing our life to see another new month. All glory be to God. On this series of parenting, I will want us as parents to see how we can go about our children, and I want to title it, this series for this week, as what we the parents should know about personality formation. Personality formation. I want us parents to see and to know how we can go about our children on the topic of personality formation. What is personality? It refers to the enduring behavior that comprises a person's unique adjustment to life, abilities, and emotional patterns. Example could be how kind, caring, careful, or rough the person might be. That's the personality of a person. Oh, that's the personality. Is kind, is love. We all know that every child born into this world is without culture, is without language, is without habits. But the personality that is built up in the child depends on what contribution we, the parents, put in their life. That is why the child, by the grace of God, gets to know something either through the parents or through the guidance. So we see every child, we speak the language of the parents, we behave more like the parents, and it's whatever I say that we do that these children will do, because it's what they see that they respond to. It's what they see, they respond to. It's what they hear, they respond to. They respond to the total environment in the same way, because they came into this world plain, open, empty. We are the parents to fill them up. As a result of this, we parents should know that we have a great role to play in the molding of these children's behavior or character during the stages of their growth. We've talked about the different stages earlier on. We have also talked about saying that parenting is a task. We talked about the stages. We had about 8 stages, and the most important or the most hardest, I can say difficult, it is when they come to their teenage age, because from infancy to teenagers we have 8 stages. So in building, some parents sometimes subconsciously build a fear of the future into these children, and this could later prevent them from developing a positive mind towards life or the confidence with which to cope in life or living in life. This kind of negative behavior, parents, we must not exhibit towards these children. I will want to highlight some of them. There are some negative things we should not exhibit or allow to work in their lives, because it's very difficult to get rid of it. 1, parents sometimes making reference to their own developmental years of their lives. That is, During our growing time, we make reference to read to these children, and the way we talk to them as if all our stages were perfect, as if we never made a mistake, as if we have never missed it, and we use it to compare these children these days. A typical example is their school reports. When their results in school, when we compare it, we should know that when we do it that way, we make them feel somehow. We, as parents, somehow we must have missed it. It's good when we are talking, we should not just make ourselves as if we are so perfect, and they tend to see themselves as if they have failed. Without looking at the times of these children, we'll be making mistake. Our times differs from theirs. My husband used to say that when they were going to school in primary school, his carton they will tie rope and put their leg. If not hot sun, they will be trekking. We can't compare that time with now. We always say those are our times. We did those things. Now they need shoes. You can't tell one child just to go to school without shoes like that. So we have to be very careful in making reference to our times. We can make reference, but we have to be very careful in making the reference so that these children will not fail somehow. Some of us, we failed exams and we repeated and we make it. And that a child failed once or so or did not do well, we should not bring it in a way. And in fact, sometimes when we speak, can we make a proof of what we are saying of ourselves? Because these children don't know, they will continue saying it. We should avoid those negative references and emphasis on perfection of our times. Making reference to past mistakes of the children and errors committed by the child in ignorance. I emphasize, this child made a mistake in ignorance, errors in ignorance in the past, and will continue to make it in ignorance. We knew. And we did not make any attempt to make any correction by example or by sharing with the child the right thing the child should have done, how he should have gone about it. And we continue to make reference to the past mistakes. It's very demoralizing. Our developmental years cannot be compared with theirs, no matter what we feel it is. The third one I want to mention is comparing the child's ability with another to the extent that the disadvantaged child feels so bad. We are all not the same. Even if you have 10 children, their brilliancy, their understanding and everything cannot be the same. When we continue to compare the child's ability with another to an extent that the disadvantaged child self-esteem is brought low and loses confidence in himself, it is a problem. It's a problem, and you can see that in so many cases when we are speaking to him. Can't you see so and so? Can't you see how he's doing it? Can't you see how he's talking? Can't you see how he's doing this? We have to be very careful. We have to be very careful, and we should not make them feel as if they cannot make life. They can make life, no matter the situation. They can make life. They can also make it. Let them try to write them off as if they are the worst of all children. We should give them hope. We should encourage them. It's in encouraging them that things will get better for them, and we parents could be happy. 4, I want to talk of expressing unfulfilled expectation in children. In trying to say, I expected this from you, but this one you are doing is not good. For example, some parents, we must have desired to have a baby boy as our firstborn, but instead we have a baby girl. We must be very careful not to show resentment or rejection towards that child. Or maybe you have said, we won't have children again, and you have that child. That child should always be given the impression that he or she is loved and wanted. We should not make comments, if not because, no. Otherwise, the necessary love a child needs to build up a positive personality will be lost, and there's no way we can integrate fully into that life again once it is lost. Expressing unfulfilled desire, expectation in our children, I don't think it's the child's fault, nor is anybody's fault. So we should accept what has come and let life go normal. 5, I want to talk about, there are parents who appreciate and have high regard for certain physical attributes. This could have been expressed in the choice of their spouses. For example, some of the physical traits which attracts a man to his wife may have been her light complexion or slim in stature, whereas the contrast is with his own. When his wife bears children who take after his own physical characteristics in form of stature or complexion, he must be careful not to show resentment in any way to these children. Rí bí ó ṣe dúdú bí bàbá ẹ̀, orí ẹ̀ bí orí màmá ẹ̀. We have to be very, very careful. Also, in other ways, parents must avoid doing or saying things which cause unhealthy rivalry or jealousy among the children. Any show of bias or favoritism, I have mentioned it earlier in one of our topics, could give rise later to a situation where the affected child or children develop negative attitude emotionally or towards life in general. We have to be very, very careful. These are negative traits. These are negative things we get into these children that are not very good, that we have to work against. Lastly, I want to mention this. Trying to make a hero out of the children by forcing them toward our own set goals for their lives, even when we realize that they have no potential to achieve this and their interest lies elsewhere. For example, a father might have made up his mind that his child should become a medical doctor or an engineer also. If the child's school report does not seem to commend him towards this aim of the parents, that child may suffer rejection or be regarded as a failure at home. This should not be, and it's happening. You see some children, they force them, they go and read the course, and they are not satisfied. They are not contented. They just do it just to satisfy mommy and daddy. No, we should not make hero out of that. I know parents who want to brag, I have a lawyer, I have this, I have this. The ability, we should be able to do it. You could say it, I wish you can do this. But when we know from the report that the child cannot do it, why must we now force the child? Why would we want to make a hero out of his own? We say, no, I want somebody who will take after what I'm doing. If I'm gone, I want somebody to take after what I am doing. What you are doing is not the issue. We should not frustrate these children. It happens especially within the teenagers as they are growing, as we are seeing it. And that's why you see some of these children, they go all the way to confide in others in issues like that. My prayer is that this issue of personality formation in children should be taken seriously. They came empty. We are the one to fill them up. Then I ask, how are you feeling it? What are you using to fill it? We've talked of spiritual, we've talked of other things. How are we going about filling the empty vessel that God has given to us? My prayer is that God will help us in Jesus' name.
I believe you have been blessed and transformed with today's episode. Please join us same time next week. For inquiries, sponsorship and support, please call +234 705 575 6270 or +234 903 080 6552. Divinity Broadcast. Excellence always.